guys, I'm going to update you guys on what's been going on over the past 24 hours. Give me a few minutes trying to go through what actually occurred today. It's been a pretty slow day, to be honest, guys. It's March 4th, 2019. I'm hoping you're having a wonderful day, a blessed day indeed. Like I said, very slow day, it seems like. Everyone on Twitter's been pretty silent. I don't know if that's because they expected more to happen today, and not a lot did. All right. If we first look at the situation with Venezuela, the opposition leader arrived in Venezuela today. When he arrived, there was a slew of diplomatic heads from different countries there to greet him. And it seemed like he came home to thunderous applause, didn't really seem like there was a lot of people out there who were too mad about him being there. He set up a lot of protests, a lot of rallies prior to him arriving, and a lot of people actually showed up to that. He was not arrested. That was a big fear, was that he would be arrested right when he got into Venezuela. That seemed to not happen. Does not mean that it won't happen in the future. It just means that right now, today, he lives to fight another day. And I think, Maduro understands that. I think he understands that, if he was to arrest him, he'd be inviting an intervention of sorts, right? Now, does that mean that a planned intervention by the West is going to be halted? No, it doesn't, all right? It does not. But it does seem like, let's say you believe that there is this plan for U.S. intervention, for Western intervention in this country. It seems like their plan is pretty damn rocky, First, we'll talk about the aid. The aid that happened, that big date, I think it was February, 23rd, that we all thought, hey, this aid's supposed to go through. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Maduro stops it. Let's see if at that point intervention will happen. And there was a lot of clashes. There was a lot of bloodshed. The aid was turned away. But it seemed like at that point, some key allies to this intervention were not ready to play ball. Okay? And I think that's what happened. And that's what derailed the intervention to begin with, right? Now, the second plan could have been, all right, we're going to get Guaido, or I think I'm saying that correctly, out of the country. He'll do his little South American tour. He'll speak to world leaders, meet with world leaders. And then when he heads back home, at that point, most likely Maduro will place him under arrest. He wasn't supposed to travel. He did. He wasn't supposed to leave the country. He did. And when he went back, I guess their plan, or from every shred of evidence that we have from multiple U.S. officials stating that Maduro was not to touch him, that if he would, there'd be swift condemnation. I think Maduro saw that. And that's why he decided not to arrest him, because at that point he'd be inviting more scrutiny from the West, more scrutiny from the United States of America, and that's just not what happened. So he had his rallies, he had his protests, he had a lot of people show up. People seemed to really love him, and not much more news came out of this, I believe, there definitely would have been more news had he been arrested, but because everything was going smoothly, not a lot of noise from this happening, So of course we're going to have to continue to watch Venezuela in that situation. Still a serious situation, but to me it looks more like it's going to be some sort of civil war. It looks like it may be a smoother transition than we first anticipated. And this is something we're going to have to continue to watch as the days and weeks go by. Anything could happen. Tomorrow he could be arrested. Something could happen. that would speed up this timeline, but it's pretty evident at this point that the U.S. and the West, that their idea is to get Maduro out and is to get their guy in. We've had Russia come out multiple times and state that intervention is not okay. And I had the prediction that if, in fact, intervention did occur, that Russia would use that opportunity to invade parts or all of Ukraine. A little tit for tat action going on there. Like I said, guys, we're gonna have to continue to watch this situation as it unfolds. I'm just baffled by the little noise that we've seen today on multiple fronts, right? Because that's Venezuela. That's just Venezuela. Next is the India-Pakistan situation, which we had ceasefire violations today. We had shelling at the LOC, but that's not extremely uncommon. And I feel like people are getting worked up about this situation. In some aspects, I totally get it. I totally understand why you would. But I feel like a lot of people are getting worked up, especially over Twitter, about this situation. When border clashes at the LOC are extremely, they happen all the time. They're prevalent, and it's really crazy to see the amount of people on Twitter just gnawing at the bit to see something pop off here. The LOC, honestly, is probably the second most dangerous border in the world, behind North Korea and South Korea. Border clashes are not unheard of. They're probably going to continue. Does that mean that we're going to see an escalation between India and Pakistan? No, it does not. Do I believe an escalation is still possible? I do think it is still possible, but with all the diplomatic back channel things going on between the U.S., Russia, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Israel, it's pretty evident to see that people wanted to de-escalate this situation. There was a report, or several reports I was looking at today that stated that there was a plan in place a couple days ago for India to strike Karachi and Pakistan's nuclear plants. And that was that night that I went live stream. It was the night that Pakistan's military bases went dark. Airspace was closed. It looked like it was going to be a really bad situation. And then the morning sun rose and everything was all good. That was the report that was supposed to happen, and that countries like Saudi Arabia, like the United States of America, intervened. And then shortly after, Pakistan released the IAF pilot. Now, I would say that our chances are about 90% right now that this is going to sputter away, that this is going to go back to the norm, which is a really sad thing for the people on the LOC. Really sad for the people in Kashmir, because their daily lives are war, and I have to say it. I know a lot of really amazing Indian people, but their media is a circus. I thought that the U.S. media is pretty damn bad. The whole reason I made this channel was because U.S. media has an agenda. They lie to us. There's propaganda. Sometimes it's more subtle than others. But India's media, holy cow, man! It's a damn circus. It really is. I don't know how many times I was seeing so many times I was seeing guests and the hosts just arguing. Today I was watching it while I was at work, and it was all about they started arguing all about politicizing the strikes, and they were attacking the opposition group because elections are coming up in India, and of course Modi wants to win again, and the opposition was asking legitimate questions about this strike in India. Very legitimate questions, all right? Because what we were told immediately was there was 200 to 300 terrorists killed, and that this was an extreme success. Well, that story broke down very quickly, okay? And at this point, we don't know how many were killed, if they were, or if the mission was even a success, because the foreign minister of India, he changed his tone and recently came out and stated, well, you know what, this wasn't meant to kill anyone, it was meant to send a message. You know, and if he came out immediately and just said that, I would have given him props. I would have given India props. I would have given their damn media props. Because, honestly, they went deeper into Pakistan than they have since 1971. And Pakistan's air defense basically was caught off guard. So it's crazy to me that we're seeing this walking back of the whole strike into Pakistan, and it's a huge slap in the face to India. Like if you look at the situation now, a week later, and you wonder who went out on top, it's definitely Pakistan. They got the PR stunt with returning that IAF pilot that they shot down, mind you, and then captured and then returned him. Okay, everyone's up in arms against Pakistan because they're not controlling their terrorists, and I totally get that. But at the same time, Pakistan came out on top with this. They really did, and that's why I think that there's a 10% chance that there is an escalation, and that is the fact that Modi and his government, over the next couple days, it might come out like, hey, you know what? These strikes really didn't do a lot. They didn't do a lot, and so he might need to save face, and that's why India might strike. That or India and Iran are working together to do a joint operation against Pakistan, because we're hearing from Iran that they're telling Pakistan to get their terrorists under control, their militants under control, or that Iran would do that themselves. I mean, what was it, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago? Everyone was reporting at the time that Iran was thinking about launching a missile strike against Pakistan. Very serious situation. 90% of me tells me that it is going to die down. But, 10% of me still, that conspiracy theorist, believes that, hey, Modi's government might think, we need to get the people back on our side. We need to have very clear-cut proof that we are striking Pakistan, we are striking their terrorist organizations, and there's little to no doubt that it was effective, because right now there's a whole hell lot of doubt going on right now. Let's move on. So guys, 90% tells me it's going to die down. 10% tells me, watch it. Let me add on to that, because during this India-Pakistan row that was going on for a week, there was a lot of new Twitter handlers, intel guys that I've never heard of that started to get a lot of attention. All right, we had Kashmir Intel. We had a man by the name of F. Jeffrey, and a lot of things he posts, it makes me think, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. This is kind of weird. He kind of just posts stuff. I've seen him post and redact like 3 or 4 tweets that look like they would have caused alarm, and he's come back and said, oh, I deleted it. It ended up not being true. Sorry. Why not check into that first before you tweet something like that, bud, But someone I follow a lot, Intel Crab, has retweeted multiple tweets from this guy, so it added a little bit of credibility in my eyes. And earlier today, he stated, hey, watch India and Pakistan the next 42 to 72 hours, or 48 to 72 hours. I don't know if that means something's going to occur. or he's got some scoop. He's supposed to be the deputy director of like Southern Asian Intel or something. It seems like a made up title, but he said watch out. So I'm gonna give it 3 more days to continuously watch updates that come in about the situation between India and Pakistan. But I think my gut feeling is telling me right now that we're just going to have a lot of tension between these two countries. But really, guys, that's nothing new. But like I said, I'm going to keep on watching it. North Korea. Let's go on to North Korea. All right. When it comes to North Korea, this is a situation that I've covered probably the most over the past year and a half that I've been on YouTube. All right. When that they were testing missiles, they were testing nukes, I thought, hey, you know what? Trump's not playing. They're going to either stop or we're gonna strike different targets in North Korea. That ended up not happening. All right, that was one of the times where I was pretty damn gung-ho, and I learned that I need to take a step back with situations like this. This is why I always say take things with a grain of salt. Double check sources before you start to freak out. I feel like that's why I'm not on Twitter. I think that people on Twitter they're so ready to get that story out there. They're so ready to let people know, hey, this is going on, and then when it ends up being a farce. You kind of look like an asshole. But with North Korea, all right, we know that the last summit was a failure. Even though Trump wants to paint it like it wasn't one, it was definitely a failure. We seem to downplay or downsize and rename some military drills that we have during the spring with South Korea and the United States of America. Though Trump says that this decision was made long before, that these military drills are a waste of money. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he has said in multiple speeches over the past 2 years that these drills cost a lot of money, that our troops in South Korea cost a lot of money. But it also makes me wonder, is he, because he is, I hate to say it, but he's licking the boot of Kim Jong-un. After that failed summit, he went out on Twitter like he always does, and he was like, Kim Jong-un's such a great guy. What a great leader. North Korea could be so great. It could be amazing. He could be a great leader for a rising economic giant in Asia. Which one? I don't think he deserves that. What the hell are we trying to make him a great leader of an economic giant in Asia for? I mean, hell, his people either worship him or they're killed off or they're put into camps. Why the hell are we trying to reward a guy like that? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. But like I said, Trump's been licking the boot of Kim Jong-un. I kind of hate it. I hate how the leader of the free world is reduced to getting somebody's rocks off over Twitter. I think that's terrible. I can't handle it, man. I can't. Dylan saying LL breaking news. India, Pakistan breaking news. I am not seeing anything. If you want to elaborate, that would be fantastic. Let me know. I'm reading the comments as they come in. Fire jets are overhead in Kashmir right now. Let me check on this real quick. Hold on. That link you posted is not working for me. Hold on. It might. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you're just losing it, dude. I'm not seeing anything. I'll check that after I'm done with this. If you have more information, like credible information, keep on posting it, bud. What was I gonna say? Oh, check Central Banker. Hold on. Central Banker. I know you guys are like, dude, are you serious right now? Well, I see something from 4 hours ago. Pakistan will use nukes if losing war. Yeah, that's something else I forgot to add. Um, because that did come out that multiple officials within Pakistan stated that if Pakistan was in a conventional war with India and they were losing that war, as many believed that they would not hesitate to use nuclear force. Maybe that's another reason why we're seeing some sort of de-escalation. Oh, this guy's saying the link's working. What's the word? Okay, well, I'm looking into it, man. I'm trying to see if I see anything. Hold on. Yeah, Dylan's usually, yeah, he's not one guy to start spewing nonsense unless that's true. What time is it over in India? I mean, it's pretty damn early, isn't it? It's pretty damn early, I think. All right, I'm going to check on that in a second. I was kind of getting off track. North Korea. All right, North Korea. What's going on with North Korea? Looks like we're licking the boot of Kim Jong-un. Looks like Trump is trying to play his ego, which, I mean, I hate to see the leader of the free world do it, but Kim Jong-un is a huge egomaniac, and if you're going to try to get him on your side and back to the table, that's kind of what you got to do unless you're about to use military force, and he knows you're about to use military force. They wanted all sanctions off the table. That didn't happen, nor should it, because the mainstream media was pointing towards North Korea destroying their nuclear testing site. What a joke, all right? That thing was already caving in. So them destroying it means nothing. And they came out and stated that their ICBM technology was perfected. It was ready to go. That's why we don't see missile tests anymore, guys. It's not because they're turning over a new leaf. Okay? They're not turning over a new leaf. They believe that their missile technology is up to par and can reach places like Hawaii, Guam, and even the continental United States. So why would they risk further condemnation by testing these missiles? Doesn't make any sense. That's just not smart on their part, so they're obviously not going to do it. They're done testing their nuclear technology, so why not destroy their nuclear testing site that's currently caving in or was caving in and leaking nuclear fallout? I mean, why not? Why wouldn't they do that? So, North Korea really has not given a damn thing up, and so to think that the U.S. would cave or give anything up makes me sick to my stomach, and I'm glad that we aren't, and I hope we continue not to. I mean, honestly, that's something we shouldn't be doing. Now, where do we go from here? I've heard reports from the foreign minister of North Korea that it seems like Kim Jong-un may have lost the stomach for negotiations, which in his famous New Year's address, he stated that he was ready to talk, but if it did not go anywhere, then he was going to protect his country's interest in their nuclear stockpile. You know, hold on real quick. Dylan, any updates? You hearing any updates? I mean, hell, this F. Jeffrey guy right here, he's usually one of the first ones to talk about stuff like this, and I am not seeing anything so far. Had a small update about the LOC, but nothing in the past 6 hours from this guy. He might be asleep. Nothing from Kashmir Intel as well. Not for 7 hours. Not seeing anything from them. Going over to DEF CON moderator, and they talked about the oh snap, something went wrong. Oh well, DEF CON moderator is right here. Talked about the shelling of a Turkish military outpost that apparently happened by the Syrian army. And since 3 hours ago, we haven't seen any real confirmation of that. So that's something we have to continue to watch. And from what I'm guessing, I'm not seeing anything on jets overhead or anti-missiles flying. That's central banker guy. Really great dude. Like his videos a lot. But I seem to get his notifications days later, and so this kind of happened to me. I feel like where I thought that some shit was popping off with India, and it turned out the video was 3 days old. So I don't know if that's what happened with you, Dylan. But I mean, if you're seeing anything else, let me know, because I am not seeing anything at this point. What else can we talk about? Yeah, guys, I feel like it's been a slow day. It's been a slow day, but I've been talking for the past 15 to 20 minutes. I just expected so much more to happen today. It's a Monday, for Christ's sake. I thought a lot more was gonna go down. Give me a minute. Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing anything about the hospital and seeking urgent blood donations. I know that was a few days ago. Fire jets are over here in Kashmir right now. I mean, I feel like this may be old news, and you might have just gotten a late notification, because I am not seeing anything new about that. And if anyone is, let me know. But yeah, that's just not something I'm seeing right now. And you would think we would see something if that ended up being the case. But it seems like it's not the case at this point. I mean, hell, Texas News Studio usually posts the shit out of that stuff, and they aren't posting anything right now. Which is making me believe that most likely that was a false flag, my brother. False flag. I don't see anything on it. So, like I said, India, Pakistan, pretty sure 90% sure that that's going to die down. Only 10% allows me to think that. Yeah, YouTube's always screwing up, dude. I mean, hell, I feel like half the time I go live, it doesn't go out, or if I put a video up, it doesn't go out to people with notifications on. So YouTube is a lot of times broke as shit. The only way I see something happening between India and Pakistan is if India initiates it first, and if Prime Minister Modi believes it is in his party's best interest to strike Pakistan or a terrorist network within Pakistan. So, yeah, I think the odds are stacked in de-escalation's favor at this point. North Korea, who knows where we go from here? I mean, if Kim Jong-un is done with negotiations, we're back right where we started. But at this point, they're not testing missiles. It seems like North Korea can take a back seat, especially with what's going on with Venezuela. But then again, with Venezuela, Maduro didn't do anything today. The opposition leader was able to walk into Venezuela or land into Venezuela, and basically nothing occurred. Who thinks within 1 month there will be a war between Pakistan and India? I just don't. I don't think so. And let me tell you why, Rush. All right. I don't think that that would occur because I think the best chance for war between India and Pakistan went out the window when Pakistan released that IAF pilot. Okay, um, I thought at that time, and I was really following it closely. I started to upload a lot more videos. I think I was doing 1 to 2 a day. I thought at that point, damn, we were really close. And it was crazy because for like the first 2 to 3 days, Western media wasn't even touching it, which added a little bit more validity to me that no one's really caring about the situation. It's about to pop off. And it seemed like uh, last minute intervention by the U.S., Saudi Arabia, China stopped India from actually striking Pakistan. Because I mean, even more validity to that situation, we saw reports that India's only aircraft carrier had left its port with its fleet and was heading north towards Karachi. You know, and then that night, that famed night, where Pakistan's military went dark and they closed their airspace, everyone was ready for a strike, and it did not come. There was a lot of hype from this. There was a lot of hype from this situation because you saw Pakistan's generals come out and say, after there was that intrusion of airspace by the Pakistanis that day that the Indian Air Force pilot was shot down and then captured. Pakistan's generals after that said, "Oh, this wasn't the surprise. The surprise is coming. We're going to retaliate, but the surprise is coming." And nothing really happened. I mean, it's been 5, 6 days. We haven't seen a surprise. We see a lot of hardware and troop movement towards the LOC. That those troops are still there. The LOC is still hot. The hardware is still there. That's why yesterday I was saying, something doesn't feel right. There's a lot of troops on the border. There's a lot of tanks on the border. A lot of military hardware. Something feels wrong about this situation. But then I started to think about, Ukraine and Russia. Russia has so much damn hardware and troops on the Ukrainian border, and does that mean that eventually Russia's not going to try to invade the Ukraine? Absolutely not. That's going to happen eventually, guys. It's going to happen. They're just, Putin's an opportunist guy. He's going to wait for the perfect opportunity, and at that point, invade Ukraine. But it's been like that for what, a year and a half now? So situations can stay hot like that for a long time. It doesn't mean that war is right around the corner. And the problem with all these people on Twitter, and a lot of them I follow, I use the information that they put out. They're great people. I even tell you guys, hey, you should follow these people. They put out some legit information. The problem is that people take that information that they are just updating you with, and they just spread it like wildfire. And from that, people start freaking out, and they start saying, "Oh, war's around the corner. World War III is coming." Blah blah blah. It's a marathon. It's not a race. Okay, all this is going to happen. We're going to see another world war. To think that we're not it's crazy. There's so many pieces moving around. This India-Pakistan is a flashpoint, but it's just one flashpoint. There's hundreds of them. These are situations we're going to have to continue to watch. Between North Korea, Syria, Israel and Palestine, Israel and Iran, Saudi Arabia and Iran, India and Pakistan, North Korea, South Korea, Russia, Ukraine, U.S. and Venezuela, U.S. and Russia. Russia just came out, and they officially got rid of the INF treaty. That's stoking fears that there's going to be another Cold War. Newsflash, the Cold War has been going on. U.S., Russia, and China have had militaristic attitudes towards each other for a while now. Hell, we sail a freaking DDG or a warship through the Strait of Taiwan, the Taiwan Strait, weekly now. Every time, what happens? China comes out, condemns it. U.S. just does it again. Russia flies some bombers too close to America, too close to England, too close to Sweden. You know what happens? You scramble your jets, you walk them out. You know, this continuously happens. It's going to continue to happen. All right? Just because something flares up like this does not mean it's the end of the world. Doesn't mean it's going to be the start of World War III. The reason why all these people on Twitter are informing all of us, and the whole reason why I make these videos is because of the simple fact that you know, at any point war could break out. At any point World War III could start, and I would not be surprised. But what I'm saying is we don't take this information and act like we don't make a mountain out of a molehill, you know. We always check our sources. We always take things with a pinch of salt, and we watch things occur, okay? Everything's like a clue if you want to look at it that way, you know. And I don't know. I think I talked enough today. A lot of information, but not a lot of information. A lot more questions than answers, to be honest. If I'm being totally sincere, I think there's a lot more questions going around than there are answers. Crazy situations around the world that we're going to continue to watch, continue to talk about. You know, I like I said, it was a lot quieter today than I thought it was going to be, and I think that is insane. That is crazy. But all right, guys, I think that's all I got at this point. You know, as I always say, guys, grab a beer, a couple beers if you need it. Say a couple prayers, because we all need that. And as always, keep your eyes to the skies. God bless.